Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant.
And I am your other co-host, Rakshak. It's been a long time, but welcome to Season 4, Episode 5 of NFL Masala, where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a mountain load of spice. And it's been a while since the NFL draft, but how everyone is doing well. And my boy Anand came back from India. How was the motherland?
Yes, sir. It was a very eventful trip. A lot of family functions, but I'm excited to get back on the grind, man.
Definitely.
What about you?
So far so good. I can't complain. A lot of things happening in my life. And speaking of which, I completed my first full season with my new dance team in Albany. So I want to give a special shout out to
Let's go.
Academy.
Congratulations.
I mean, they brought my joy of dancing back again, honestly. And
Nice.
And not to throw shade at my old dance team back in Texas, but I got more opportunities to perform on the big stage. So
Yes, sir.
and also I actually choreographed my own very first piece. I did back in not too long ago for 20 seconds. And I mean, I just can't wait for football. I'm sneezing right now because of allergies, but things have been going pretty good. I cannot complain, and I just can't wait to talk football.
Yes, sir. All right. So today we are going to start our first of 8 division breakdowns, starting with a pretty, interesting division, given what happened last season. And that is the AFC West. Huh?
Yeah. I would say it's more common. It's becoming more of a common recurrence. We start with the AFC West, or we just spice it up.
Right. Exactly. Because we want to, we want to start with a banger, right? And the AFC West is definitely a banger. You have 4 incredible head coaches, veteran head coaches, some of the best head coaches in the past 25 years, all coaching in that one division. So that's going to be very interesting to see the interplay between all those coaches and those teams going into this season. But before we break down what we think is going to happen in the AFC West division, let's get started with some much overdue Dhamakedar news.
Oh, man. How many Dhamakedar news do we have? I mean, we know about Aaron Rodgers becoming a Steeler. What else did we miss in the world? Oh, yes. Water's blue, grass is green.
The dirt is brown.
Oh, and also a lot of people getting paid.
Yes, sir.
Right.
A lot of people getting paid. A lot of
people are getting paid. And
a lot of extensions.
And also, before I start Dhamakedar news, I think this is something very special that I followed, and unfortunately, it happened in India. This 114-year-old man named Falja Singh, aka the Turban Tornado, that's his nickname. He was one who is he was when he was 104, he did he did a marathon, and he's been doing marathons for a while, but unfortunately he passed away due to a hit and run in India. And,
oh my.
It's very sad, but he has left a huge impact in the running community and whatnot. Incredible story. Recommend you check it out. And thoughts to him. Om Shanti. That's all I can say. Sir. And also, I'm still in mourning.
Yes.
With cricket. How the hell did India lose to England at Lord's? Yes. So many things have happened, and I'm going to say this. English, beans and toast is not a freaking dish. You know what's a freaking dish? A big breakfast thali you could have on a banana leaf. Yes. Idli, vada, puri, sambar, dosa, upma, sambar, shakara. That's
Chutney.
A much better breakfast than your freaking English bread toast. It's so How What does Pushback Sidhu say?
They colonized 75% of the world for 400 years, and all they could come up with for breakfast is beans and toast. I mean, that just shows just how miserable and pathetic those losers actually are. Now we just have to show who's the real boss by beating them in this series.
We have to.
We have to. All right.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's all we're going to say. Let's get started, shall we? Out of the tons and tons of extensions that happened, let's talk about some of the biggest ones. Starting with an AFC West player landing the highest contract in league history for an interior offensive lineman, and that is Trey Smith, guard for the Chiefs, signing a 4-year $94 million contract extension with $70 million guaranteed, the most guaranteed money ever awarded to an NFL guard. So I see inflation has even reached the NFL. 25% inflation has even reached the NFL.
So much for that big beautiful bill.
Yeah, he was still playing on the franchise tag. He turns 26. He's one of the best guards in the league. So obviously he gets paid this contract now. It's going to be interesting to see what other, guards in the league get this style now coming up. So it turns out that the Chiefs have 2 of the 5 top highest paid guaranteed money for interior offensive line. One is Trey Smith, obviously, with $70 million, and then Creed Humphrey, who is their center, for $50 million. So, they're locking down their 2 or 3 of the best offensive linemen that they have, and 2 of the 3 best interior offensive linemen in the league. And this is a well-earned contract for Trey Smith.
I would say definitely well-earned contract for those 2. They're really great players, although they did give up 6 sacks in the Super Bowl. I just want to say that.
That is the tackles. I will put that on the tackles.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
the interior offensive line did their job.
They did their part. They did their part for the outside tackles, but
against the Bucks.
Yeah, and I think definitely well earned, and the Chiefs are doing the one thing that we've told everyone to do right. You build through the trenches.
Yes. That works.
It works. It works wonders. Yes. See what you could do with it.
To the other 27 other teams that don't have good offensive lines.
It's not rocket science, stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So moving on. This goes with the New Jersey Jets. They're not the New York Jets yet. They're the New Jersey Football Jets. They did extend Mr. Garrett Wilson. He landed a 4-year, $130 million extension. Makes him one of the highest paid receivers, sources told Adam Schefter yesterday. And a little bit more of the breakdown. $90 million guaranteed, the 4th most on a wide receiver's contract. It marks the first time in NFL that a receiver has received an average over $31 million after playing only 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. The $32.5 million average in his new deal is the 5th highest among wide receivers. And I think this is really incredible. It shows the fact that the Jets' new staff under Aaron Glenn are saying that we have to keep the young players, because what the past Jets have done, you want to recreate the Joe Namath era? Let's bring back some old ass players. Good that you did not listen to that, Aaron Glenn. Good that you decided to say, hey, let's use our brains for a bit and actually invest in the youth, because it does wonders. And if you talk about last season, Garrett Wilson, 101 receptions, 1,104 receiving yards, and 7 touchdowns. Not bad. But I know that he was pissed with the play calling in the offense. And him and Aaron Rodgers, Yeah, but guess what? He sees a familiar face in Justin Fields, Ohio State. That connection. I'm very interested to see how that plays out.
Alrighty. Good extension. Does I don't agree with that contract value for Garrett Wilson because that means Jamar. Is Jamar Chase on a new contract? I think he is, right? I think Jamar
I
Chase.
thought Jamar Chase had a big contract, but I'm guessing no. So I'm looking at the average paper play.
Mm-hmm.
Jamar Chase 40.3 million.
Yeah.
Jetta
Garrett Wilson
35, CD 34, DK 33, Garrett 32.5, AJ Brown 32.
Yeah. So, okay. So there are a lot of things that is wrong with this. Garrett Wilson is not a better receiver than AJ Brown. I have to say that.
Okay.
DK Metcalf is not a better receiver than AJ Brown. I think this is the inflation of contracts that is coming due. If you look at the recently signed deals in 2025, you got DK Metcalf and Garrett Wilson all passing the 32.5 threshold. Whereas when you look at in 2024, you had Justin Jefferson who had 35, CD Lamb who had 34, and AJ Brown at 32.5. So I think that this is going to invite significant intrigue as to who is going to sign a deal that's going to top Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf in terms of average annual salary. And I'm looking at a couple people. I'm looking at potentially Scary Terry. He's also looking for a new contract.
Speaking of Scary Terry,
right?
He is upset that he still doesn't have a deal.
And the Commanders, they could have done a better job by signing a contract early, but they didn't. So that's going to be interesting. You got Scary Terry, who's looking at a new contract coming up. And then you have who else? Let's see. Potential Christian Watson's not going to break the barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, this is probably the last time you're going to see a contract be this
expensive.
You're going to get a new contract here. So probably Scary Terry is the only person to look at. And I don't know where he's going to land. He's probably, if he thinks that he's a better wide receiver than DK Metcalf, does he get higher than CD Lamb at 34? And if he does, that's going to be significant controversy if he's the third highest wide receiver in terms of average annual salary. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of months. All right, let's move on. Another person who received a contract extension, he's not a player, but he is a general manager and the best general manager in the league. Who is it? It is none other than Chicago Bears general manager Ryan Poles. He is single-handedly saving this franchise. He has brought the savior at quarterback. He is now bringing the savior in head coach. He is bringing the savior in terms of their wide receivers. Okay. He is building a super team. And he deserves a 3-year contract extension.
Pause about the Chicago Bears, Ryan Poles being a savior. Like, how much? Wait, how much is that contract?
I'm just channeling my inner Chicago Bear fan.
Oh my god, dude! Like the Chicago Bears are a sorry franchise. They don't know what the hell they're doing with their stadium. They did right by their only things that they've done right was getting an offensive line, but a questionable draft pick, like, I don't know, Colston Loveland when you had
Cole Kmet.
No, I know. No, the other, like the number one tight end, Tyler Warren.
Oh, Tyler Warren.
when Tyler Warren was sitting on your lap. I'm like,
well, I mean, there was a lot of like
there's so
debate in
many things,
terms
but
of
I'm like,
Colton Loveland versus Tyler
Ryan
Warren, but
Poles,
still, yeah.
that much? No.
No, not only that. I mean, see, Ryan Poles, the genius that he is, right? He earned the #1 in that blockbuster trade. Got the #1 overall pick for the 2022 and 2023 seasons, right? They got DJ Moore from Carolina, which he got Caleb Williams for in that draft, Darnell Wright, and drafting a punter, Torrey Taylor.
Ooh, Torrey Taylor.
Single-handedly saving the franchise. This is what
What is it with you? Like, oh, single-handedly saving the franchise. That makes no.
it is Ryan Poles. He's the general manager. The buck stops with him. You know, if the franchise succeeds, he's single-handedly saving the franchise. We don't know the contract details because they don't have to disclose the contract details for general managers and head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So all we know is that it's a 3-year extension. Now, my surprise is, and I'm speaking, honestly now, I'm not speaking facetiously.
Yep.
Why are they doing it now? This dude, Ryan Poles,
Okay.
he hired, he had Matt Eberflus, fired him midway through the 2024 season. Let's just take a look at Ryan Poles' record, for example, shall we?
Okay, please, by all means.
In the 3 seasons that he has been the general manager for the Chicago Bears, they have gone 3-14, 7-10, 5-12. And during those seasons, he has been through at least 3 head coaches, I believe.
I would think so. Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, so
And...
he hired Matt Eberflus. So 2 head coaches. He hired Matt Eberflus, then fired him midway through the season. Then he traded Roquan Smith, the best linebacker in the league, for AJ Klein. He then traded for Chase Claypool. Then he made a good deal by trading for DJ Moore and then drafting Darnell Wright and then Caleb Williams. We'll see. Roma Dunze. We'll see. But still, it's been uninspiring and chaotic, to say the least. And that probably sums up the entire history of the past, 15 years for the Chicago Bears. Uninspiring and chaotic. By the way, this is what their new head coach,
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson had to say about Ryan Poles. There's a rhythm to all the madness behind what we do and how we do it. And Ryan really is the brains behind that. He set it all up, and you can tell that this organization has been together for a number of years now because it's been running so smoothly. He's consistent every single day when he comes in. I think that sometimes it's underlooked at times, particularly in this profession. Consistency is a huge deal, and he's just done a great job every single day laying out a plan, executing a plan, and just getting to know him more. Why now? At least wait to see if Ben Johnson is what he's built out to be, if he's the next Sean McVay, or if he's just Mike McDaniel.
Who doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Right. Who's a great offensive coordinator, but not a great head coach.
Right. And there's
we have no idea. Is the offensive line going to perform, or is it going to be the same and Caleb Williams is a chicken with his head cut off every game? Can
And like
Caleb
chicken.
Williams improve? Like, there are a lot of questions that still have to be answered before Ryan Poles can, should have been extended.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of question marks.
Yep.
At least make the playoffs for once. Anyways, I'm happy as a Packers fan to see the genius that is Ryan Poles, the greatest general manager to ever exist, be extended through the 2029 season.
I'm just happy that me as an Eagles fan, I can live with the fact that we have the god of all GMs in Howie Roseman.
Yeah. You don't have to rub it in.
I'm just like how
guys
you're acknowledging your general manager. I gotta acknowledge my.
He's not mine.
You're acknowledging
speaking
your general manager. I'm acknowledging my general manager.
When was I acknowledging my general manager? That's not even in the conversation. Brian Gutekunst is not even in this conversation.
Goody two shoes. Yeah, I got nicknames for every GM. Like
okay,
like Gutekunst is like Goody two shoes. Like Tua is Tua Tunga Chunga.
yes.
I know, like, all due respect to Tua, but he doesn't get his last name back until he can make it
performs well. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of the Jets, 24 hours right after the Garrett Wilson, we just got news today. And I think this was actually reported by Jordan Schultz before Adam Schefter. So there's still that ongoing dispute, and I love it. I love this war. So 24 hours of that, the Jets rewarded Ahmad Sauce Gardner.
Yep.
With a 4-year, $120.4 million extension. Includes $85.653 million guaranteed. He surpassed it, and he becomes the highest paid corner based on average salary per year, $30.1 million. He surpasses Derek Stingley Jr., who received a 3-year, $90 million extension in March. And he has, and guess what? He has 2 years remaining in his rookie contract, including a 5th-year option in 2026, which is $20.2 million guaranteed. So what the Jets did, they did the smart thing. They re-signed their top 2 players, like Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. I believe they both got them at the same time during the same draft. And Gardner becomes the first Jets player since CJ Mosley to be the highest paid in the league at his respective position. And for context, 2019, CJ Mosley, 5-year, $85 million contract as a free agent. And he says, I want to change the organization. I want to be a part of changing the organization. So, hey, you know what? Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very, and I think, like, yes, they may have had like a down year last year, but it was because of the defensive schemes that they were trying to pull in, switching last minute in with that, and not that much organized. I think with Aaron Glenn, the Jets will be much more refined. Much more refined than what they had in the previous years. That is all I shall say. Moving on.
Yep. I think it's a worthy deal. This is a good deal for the Jets, because we know, as always, the inflation's going to hit, and these contracts are still going to increase in value. And we have a lot of good young corners about to get record-breaking deals now in the next year or two. So it's good that they got this extension done early. But yeah, so up next, we have 2 more pieces of news, and then we'll get started. Unfortunate news. This is sad news for now. The Buccaneers left tackle Tristan Wirfs unfortunately has to have knee surgery and is likely to start the 2025 season on the players unable to perform list, which means he could miss out probably a couple of the first opening games. At least 4 weeks. There we go. At least 4 weeks, which is a huge deal breaker for the Buccaneers because he is I'd say either the second best or the best left tackle in the game right now behind Trent Williams. He is one of the main reasons why the Bucs even have a good offense is because he is protecting Baker Mayfield's blindside. And he is the highest paid offensive tackle in the NFL for a reason. 0 sacks allowed by this offensive line.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
By this lineman. And just 13 QB pressures, which is the fewest amongst any tackle in the NFL. So it's not even a question that Tristan Wirfs is basically the best tackle in the league. Just if you look at the performance last year. And losing him is huge because the next
first 4 games
up,
tough.
Huh?
If you're in the pup list, you're losing like the first 4 games, right?
Yeah. And then the next, or the next candidate who's going to replace Tristan Wirfs, their backup is Charlie Heck, who was a free agent from the 49ers.
What the heck?
Exactly. Exactly. It's not going to be good. And guess what?
It's going to be rough.
First 4 games are not easy. They start at the Falcons, who might be pretty decent. The Texans, who have a ferocious defensive line.
Oh, God, that defensive line is going to be scary.
Ferocious defensive line. And then your Eagles, who also have a ferocious
can I say this for the record? Like, I think that's going to be an easy win for Tampa Bay because the past couple of years, whenever Philly comes to Tampa Bay, we can never win on that ground.
It's in Philly.
No, Philly's going to Tampa Bay. It's an away game for the Eagles.
Okay.
And I think because apparently we lose at Raymond James Stadium. It is so freaking annoying. Which is why I hate the NFL schedule maker. Almost 4 or 5 years in a row, the Eagles have to play in Tampa. It makes no freaking sense. Tell them to get their asses to Philly. I hate them playing in Tampa.
Don't worry about it because the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl this year. So don't worry.
No. You know what? Here's my early beat the dome moment. It is hard to repeat going back to the Super Bowl. Even after winning it.
You will.
There are a lot more tougher teams. I'm looking at teams like the Rams and hell, here's a surprise for you. Hell, the Packers.
Nah, we're not making this.
Are going to be one of those 2 teams other than the Eagles that can compete for it. Lions they're back. Bucks could be a good play. Bucks and Commanders are going to be spoilers for sure. I don't think the Eagles go back to the Super Bowl. I don't see it happening. It's going to be very tough.
You guys literally got better.
Dude, no. You'll do it at the NFC East when we talk about the NFC East, but I just don't want to get into this thing right now because it's it sucks. And I think with Tristan Wirfs, it definitely is a big issue, but I'm very curious to see how they handle it. Do they go more? I think here's my take on this one. Without Tristan Wirfs in that pass blocking, they're gonna know that Baker Mayfield will have to run to if you're talking play wise. I'm gonna take this 2 seconds. They're going to imagine Baker Mayfield try to do more rollouts or more play action options. You know what I say the best cure? If you have a struggling offensive lineman, pound the rock.
Yeah.
Run the damn ball. Yeah, Bucky freaking Irving for crying out loud. Use the man!
Yeah. I think they're going to focus on a more play action with a lot of stretch run plays. I think that is going to be the next or at least the basis of their offensive scheme for the first couple of games without Tristan Wirf, like you said.
Yeah, I
So
agree with that. And last but not least, we have to. I think that I also want to get to a contract breakdown because like something major just happened. I know like of our full-time correspondent. I mean, we have, and I don't know if you can clip this, or take a snippet of it, but we both want to give a special shout out to our full-time NFL Masala correspondent, Mr. Abhishek Ramani. Thank you for doing your service and reporting the big news that we got today in the afternoon. But first, there's a trade that happened with the Dolphins and the Steelers, and for me, it made no freaking sense what the hell was going on. Until we found the details. So what happened was this. The Steelers traded with the Miami Dolphins. There was a lot of exchanges. Miami sent cornerback Jalen Ramsey, tight end Jonnu Smith, and a 2027 7th-round pick in exchange for Steelers safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 2027 5th-round pick. And also during that time, Dolphins are like, hey, we don't have a tight end. So the Dolphins made a trade with the New York Football Giants or the New Jersey Football Giants. They sent a 2026 6th-round pick in exchange for former retired failed country music attempt singer in Darren Waller and a 2027 conditional 7th-round pick. That trade left me confused. I'm like, I think the Steelers won more out of it because you got Jalen Ramsey pairing up with Darius Slay. That is awesome. And does that mean you're pushing Joey Porter Jr. as a slot? Or do you put him back at safety where his dad used to play? You have too many good options. But the major one I want to talk about is a rookie. Shamar Stewart. Can you tell me what the hell is going on with that situation?
Man, he's standing on his ground. He is standing on his ground.
What's that one song? I'ma stand my ground. And I won't back down. Hey, baby. Okay. I think we've been trying to get back into it, but I want to say this. Shamar Stewart was at the Cincinnati Bengals have not agreed to the language of his rookie contract, and guess what? He's been practicing with his old school in Texas A&M. Like, what the hell are the Bengals doing? What are they doing?
Yeah.
That's all I can say. They're idiots.
All right. Now, let's get started with our breakdown. Starting with the Chiefs. Man, what a year. What a year. If you're Chiefs fans, you have every right to be pissed off with the amount of effort that you guys had all put into all the blood sacrifices that were committed this year at the altar of Geha Field. To not come away with a ring after the demons that you had summoned. I mean, it's such a waste of elite dark magic, witchcraft, and devil worship. You know, this year, faith in the devil must be restored. The blood sacrifices must be enhanced with blood torture. Chiefs fans, you know what to do. Summon Taylor Swift. Summon all the Swifties. Get your blood sacrifice weapons out. You need to do some more stuff because this year was just not enough.
And just to remind the Chiefs fans what happened, they made it all the way trying to go for that 3-peat, but guess what? They got belt to ass, pause, in the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles. They got their asses kicked, and it wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
Just for them to be reminded. For those that are tuning in for the first time, this is what you missed from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Exactly. All the effort that they put in, they couldn't win the Super Bowl. So, as you see Rakshak whipping the belt to ass.
Watch.
All right, let's talk seriously now.
Yeah.
When you look at their offense,
Yes.
they were pretty decent. They were top 15 in the league, 8th overall, 11th passing, and 12th running. Now, these are all DVOA stats, which means you are averaging the offensive performance against the defenses that you have played. So this is an advanced metric. It's not, one of these simple metrics where you just measure passing yards, for example. That's a very empty volume stat that needs to be taken into context. So looking at the context of this offensive performance from the Chiefs, what is one thing that you saw missing, Rakshak? What do you think before I say what I have to say?
So for the Chiefs, I felt like for offensive concept wise, when they had Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator, that was red flag number 1. Red flag number 2, there was no consistency with the run game nor the pass game. Like, I don't know what the hell they were doing. Like, you're relying on Travis Kelce a lot. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to be in the moment where you're like, F it, Xavier Worthy out there somewhere.
Right. And that is the one thing that I want to target on what you said just at the end, which is not a lack of consistency in the passing game and just relying on one or two players to generate explosive pass plays. Because this is what was, to my mind, this was their biggest weakness this past year. They could not pass deep.
Yes. And can I say something?
Yeah.
The way when I saw like Mahomes saw that, I was like, this is exactly what I saw at Texas Tech. Whenever there were times like the offense could not get working and throwing that, Mahomes will go for a scramble play and he will throw a deep ball. And we would, and us Red Raider fans, we were praying like, God, don't throw a pick. Do not throw a pick. And sometimes, most of the time, it was lucky because we had good wide receivers. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it would end up on the loss because he threw a super bad pick and you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. And no, I mean, I agree with you because when you look at the evolution of the Chiefs offense since 2019, you can clearly see a decline in passing explosiveness and more reliance on the run game and the defense to generate more opportunities for the offense. They're just not being that explosive, right? When you look at 2019, when you had Tyreek Hill and 5,000 yards that Patrick Mahomes threw for, those were all accumulated, or a lot of them was accumulated through layering deep passes to Tyreek Hill and getting chunk plays upon chunk plays in the passing game. They just don't do that anymore. When you look at, there are two stats that I want to show to everyone.
Sure.
They're both dead last in completed air yards per pass attempt. So what does that mean? That means for every time they throw the ball, so whenever Mahomes throws the ball, how much is the how far did the ball travel in the air to completion? So if you have a higher completed air yards per pass attempt, that means not only are you throwing the ball down the field more on average, you're also completing the ball down the field more on average. So if you have 4 completed air yards per pass attempt, that means on every pass attempt, you average, on average, you throw about 4 yards in the air. Now, that's not very explosive. An explosive one would be something like 7, which the Baltimore Ravens were. And guess what? You could clearly see that. They were very explosive in the pass game. The Chiefs were dead last meaning the Anthony Richardson Colts had a higher completed air yards per pass attempt.
That is scary.
The Derek Carr Saints had a higher one. Gardner Minshew Raiders had a higher completed air yards pass attempt. That's just, let that sink in.
That is crazy.
It just goes to show you, not only are they not attempting to throw the ball down the field, they're also not even completing down the field because they're dead last in pass attempt and per pass completion. So there, when you look at why they are shying away from throwing the ball down the field, and you don't just have to rely on the statistics, you can just look at game film. I think, to my mind, there are two main reasons. A, they didn't necessarily have the wide receivers that fit that specific scheme, right?
Yeah.
In 2019, they had Tyreek Hill, but they also had
Mecole Hardman, Marcus Valdez-Scantling.
Right, but
they were the Legion of Zoom. They were called the Legion of Zoom.
And the younger Travis Kelce, who could generate more of those chunk plays and still had some speed to outrun some of those linebackers. Now, he basically doesn't, right? He is very old. He's very, like you said, they're being over-reliant on Travis Kelce. And to my mind, they just didn't have the receivers. They had Rashee Rice only for 4 games. Juju is bad, and he's a bad fit, but he's also overrated now. And Xavier Worthy is there, but they didn't even use him properly.
And in between, you tried to sign and get DeAndre Hopkins, and I believe Hollywood Brown, I think, in some place.
Right. In some instances, they also had Hollywood Brown. So honestly, they tried to solve that problem by putting Band-Aids on it. But the problem is those Band-Aids were old. And they just were not effective. Other than Xavier Worthy, but they didn't use Xavier Worthy that much because this is the second point, and I think the most important point. Their offensive line sucked. And we clearly saw that in the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And guess what? The Eagles did not blitz that game.
Yeah. Yeah. It was awful this entire year. 15th in adjusted sack rate, which is not bad, but 6th in highest in pressure percentage allowed. 6th highest. That is not going to help any quarterback.
That is unhealthy.
Even if you have Mahomes, that is not going to help. That is why there were so many 1-win, 1-score games this year. They had, I think, at least like 8 or 9 1-score games where it all hinged on like that one last play. And unfortunately, the playoff teams are just way too talented for you to win by such fluky measures. You have to have good offensive performance, a balanced offensive attack, and a balanced defensive attack to go all the way. It's just not possible.
You can't win it by
pass
luck.
muster.
You can't win by luck most of the time.
Exactly. And that's what the Chiefs offense did. They just pass mustered their way into victories.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't enough at the end of the day. Now, when you look at the defense, it's a much clearer picture, but it's still worrisome. And I don't know if they've solved all that. Overall, they had a pretty decent defense, and you could see that in the playoffs as well. But I think that's primarily because of Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo is probably the greatest defensive coordinator besides maybe
coming from the late Jim Johnson, God rest his soul.
Yes. But also Bill Belichick. Besides Bill Belichick, I think Steve Spagnuolo is probably the greatest defensive coordinator in the past 25 years.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, there are probably others, like the Ravens defensive coordinator who helped them build, some of the best defensive coordinators ever.
And then some people would say like I know Eagles fans will say like, oh, let's put Vic Fangio, and it's like,
No, he's not.
I'm like, Vic Fangio is good, but not to that consistent level.
Yeah,
as Steve Spagnuolo, and
Spags literally has like 4 Super Bowl rings.
and I want to
Probably
say all because, and after all, he was under the tutelage of late Eagles legend Jim Johnson, not Jimmy Johnson. I'm talking about Jim Johnson, the man who took that 4-3 offense when I saw them play, when they had the likes of Carlos Emmons, Jeremiah Trotter, Hugh Douglas, and when we had the shutdown corners in Lito Shepard and Brian Mother Lovin Dawkins and the freak Javon Curse. That was amazing, man.
Exactly.
Good memory.
I think
I still have like
one of the
about that. Yeah.
That's one of the primary reasons why their playoff defense is so good. But if you look at their overall regular season defense, 12th overall, 17th against the pass, and 9th against the rush. And the reason why they were so bad against the pass, their pass rush, it was incredibly inconsistent and over-reliant on Chris Jones. Without Chris Jones, the Chiefs have the 5th worst pass rush win rate in the entire league. If you take out Chris Jones and his pass rushing snaps, the Chiefs' edge rotation specifically has the 5th worst pass rush win rate in the entire league.
Really?
This is specifically without Chris Jones.
No, I'm like, damn. It's like, it's almost like back then I was about to say like, oh, if I would remove Jalen Carter, but then again, it's like, oh wait, Eagles have that rotation.
Exactly.
I can't say that, and I think like the lack of depth of like recognizable depth. You're asking George Karlaftis on one side to put in a lot more effort, and also I thought they had a rookie like Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Yep. I didn't even see him enter. I don't even know if he entered the field or not. So I'm like, you signed him into a first-year contract. Like, well, he was a first-round pick for you guys. Why aren't you using him?
And even with Chris Jones on the field, they were only 18th in adjusted sack rate. They were only able to generate a lot of pressure, 6th highest pressure rate, because they blitzed the 4th most. And that's Steve Spagnuolo right there. He recognized the weakness of the defense and helped them generate pressure by, adding more blitzes. That's not a sustainable formula. You look at someone like Brian Flores, which, to me is overrated because he relies so much on the blitz.
Yep.
But that's also me as a Packers fan, being a homer a little bit. But even when you look at some of the performances against their own division offenses, like the Packers, those games, the first couple of quarters are, were pretty stifling. But when the game opens up in the 3rd and 4th quarter, that defense quickly falls apart. Because you can take apart blitzes, right? There are ways to get around blitzes. There are not a lot of answers to a 4 or 5 man rush that consistently gets home. And that is the key thing with this defensive line. Even though they have some talent, that talent is not consistent enough in terms of generating the required pressure. That's why they have to rely on blitzing. And that is the big weakness that they have to solve this upcoming year. Now, I don't know if they have, but we'll see. Now, in terms of free agency and what they did during the offseason, there are some significant moves that they've made. They brought in Jalen Moore, left tackle from San Francisco on a 2-year, $30 million deal to solve that left tackle issue that they've had for the past 2 years. They also brought in Christian Fulton, a corner from Tennessee, 2 years and $20 million deal.
Which is
fine. Yeah, it's like a top 25, top 35 corner league, corner contract. So that's pretty good. Obviously, Christian Fulton's going to be, opposite Trent McDuffie, and it's probably he's going to be the second outside corner. So it's fine. Under Steve Spagnuolo's tutelage, I think he's going to survive well because Spags is going to know how to use Fulton.
Yeah.
They also exercised the fifth-year options for George Karlaftis and Trent McDuffie, obviously. Though I was actually surprised they exercised the option for Trent McDuffie. I thought they were going to extend him early on, but they didn't. Probably because they spent a lot of money on Trey Smith. Just today, July 15th, 4-year, $94 million contract. Obviously makes sense. But they also retained Nick Bolton, probably their premier inside linebacker, on a 3-year, $45 million contract extension in March, which was their 2 big extensions this year. And a lot of just like backup players were the ones who went out. Now, the other big thing that they got, or the other big thing that they had during this free agency and this offseason is their draft.
Oh, yeah.
We were so upset, so pissed off that they were able to get Josh Simmons at pick 32.
I honestly thought he was a second round pick at best, but
okay.
I was under, I don't know where I ranked him, but that was a good pick. They needed help on tackle.
Yeah.
What I find really funny is like whenever we look at draft prospects and we're trying to go unbiased on what fits what, we're like, I hope they don't get this player.
Exactly.
I hope they don't, but then
that's exactly what we said about you guys. And somehow you guys got Jihad Campbell.
Fair enough.
Anyways, before I blow my top, they also got Noel Williams, corner, in the 3rd round.
People don't know it. He's an underrated corner.
Mm-hmm.
He's an underrated corner. Lots of good experience.
And the other pick that I really loved for them, Jalen Royals, wide receiver from Utah State, in the 4th round, near the end of the 4th round. An incredible selection, who's basically going to replace Juju Smith. He's basically taking over that Juju role of becoming a midfield possession receiver, slot gadget type of guy. So I'm really excited for that selection and see how Andy Reid uses his skill set. And in terms of coaching changes, the big thing that they did bring in terms of like an assistant coach, who is Matt House. Sorry. They bring back Matt House as the senior defensive assistant. He previously coached the linebackers for that team from 2019 to 2021. They also brought in Chris Orr, if you can recognize that last name.
Michael, who is he?
Zach Orr from the Ravens, the coach.
Oh!
Yeah. He is now he's now the defensive quality control coach. So, damn, he was born in 1997, dude. He's already a coach.
What are we doing with our lives, man?
He literally played for the Carolina Panthers in 2020.
Zach Orr.
No, not Zach Orr.
Oh, Chris Orr.
Yeah.
What are we doing with our lives, man?
Oh, his dad is a 2-time Super Bowl champion and former Washington Redskins tight end Terry Orr. His 2 brothers, Zach and Nick, also played professional football. Zach is the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. There you go. So, if anybody can recognize Chris Orr or that last name, you are officially old. All right. Let's wrap it up now.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking way too long. In terms of what I think is going to be my expectation for the Chiefs this year, I think with the revamped offensive line that they've had, with extending Trey Smith, acquiring Jalen Moore in free agency, and drafting Josh Simmons to be your 2 new tackles now, it's definitely going to improve performance. And it should provide more time for Mahomes to stretch the field with Rashee Rice if he stays, depending on the legal implications of whatever is going on off the field. Xavier Worthy and rookie Jalen Royals. Now, the thing is, they also need to change up the scheme to match the new talent that they've been able to acquire in their wide receivers. Otherwise, it might just be the same sort of dink and dunk offense that is not going to be fun to watch, but could be just enough for them to win games. Now, defensively, I think their pass rush definitely needs to step up. Have they done enough? I don't know, because they've only drafted a couple of rookies for improving their pass rush and brought in a couple of backup players. But they're basically pinning all of their hope on George Karlaftis improving and becoming more of that standout number 1 pass rusher. So overall, I think in the playoffs, they're definitely in Super Bowl contention because they will always find a way. But their regular season schedule is incredibly tough. Only easy teams that they're facing are the Giants, the Jags, Indy, or the Colts, and 1 game from each of their division rivals, because those division rivals are not going to make it easy.
Oh, hell no.
So I think for them, the range is 11-6 to 13-4. I think it's more or less 13-4. That's what I predicted when we went game to game. But yeah, so I think they're going to go 13-4. They're probably going to be in the top 2 or 3 seeds, depending on the Bills and the Ravens or the Bengals. We'll see. But I think they're expected to be in the Super Bowl, or at least in the contention for the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if they make it. We'll see.
Yep.
And last but not least, I think the Shandar Player of the Year is going to be that rookie wide receiver, Jalen Royals, who's going to become Mahomes' favorite target.
Nice. I think that's very reasonable. Chiefs, if they somehow make it to the Super Bowl again, I would not be surprised, because that's what they always do. If they don't make it, I would not be surprised either, because it's hard to not only lose the Super Bowl, but to try and come back at it again. It doesn't work out.
Yep. I agree.
Us.
All right. So
Okay.
You have the Broncos.
Yes, the Denver Broncos. Oh man, what a season for Bo Nix or his one-time urinating treat. There's this one funny one. The only I cannot stop calling Bo Nix his alter ego. I say screw you, urinating treat, for this. You know what that play was?
No.
It was with 5-point vids, Broncos versus Steelers. They're doing a play-by-play, and then Bo Nix has like a trick play. I mean, the Broncos offseason 2024 season, trick plays and long bombs, and that's one word I could say. And then the funny thing is, like, after that, and then like as Pernas about to say, hey, as he's getting ready, urinating treat, throw a pick. Seconds later, throws a pick. It is Mo Picks.
Yes.
When I saw that, I'm like, damn it, I can't even say Bo Nix's name without saying Mo Picks.
Yes.
So
Mo Picks Nix. There you go. Bo Mo picks Knicks.
So all I can say, lots of promise with the kid. And they improved their win total from last season to 10-7. They haven't had a winning season since 2016.
Yeah.
And they went to the wild card. First time in the playoffs since the Super Bowl season. So big improvements. Broncos defense improved a lot. I mean, they were ranked third in the league for points against, 311.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, and then total yards against per game, 317.2, 12 allowed, which is ranked 7th. And they led the league at sacks, setting a new franchise record, 63 sacks. And the interceptions, they were ranked 8th with 15 interceptions, all thanks to the lead of AP Defensive Player of the Year, Pat Surtain.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, of course, I would have been like Homer saying, "Oh, it should have been Zach Boss." Like, no, Pat Surtain. If he's on the other hand influencing a lot on the defensive side, you know it's working.
Mm-hmm.
And some good stats I want to say for Bo Nix. Bo Nix, 3,775 passing yards. Rushing yards, I thought Bo Nix was gonna get number one too because he ran a lot, but no, it was Javonte Williams, 513. And Cortland Sutton led all receivers with 1,081. Nick Bonito, or what does Brandon Perna say? Bonito, 13.5 sacks. And a lot of things, and of course that inexperience by Bo Nix entering into the playoffs, that was rough. They got trounced by the Bills, but luckily it took this as a learning lesson because, as Jalen Hurts said, you either win or you learn. And I think under Sean Payton, I think Bo Nix has that ability to do that, and I'm very confident in them. A lot of signings that they made, but I'm not going to go through all of them because of time. Some big ones I thought I saw was really nice was they got another tight end in Evan Ingram from the Jags. Oh, not too bad, but I think here are two big ones I'm going to highlight. Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga. Jesus Christ, or whatever God that you pray to, that defense just got a hell of a lot better once they're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Dre Greenlaw, 3-year, $35 million, and Talanoa Hufanga, 3-year, $45 million. Woo! That secondary that defense is going to be insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they also got like some 1-year deal. It's like Sam Ellinger, Sam Franklin, Zach Chimer, Matt Hack, Trent Sherfield, whatnot. And they did restructure Jonathan Cooper, one of their linebackers. But some people that they let, I mean, some Denver Broncos, like people that they lost. Give me 1 second because I mean, if I was going to look for any significant losses that they had, departures. I mean, yeah, Mac Hat, Cole Featherington, Tanner McAllister, KJ Lloyd. All of them are like pretty waived, so I think there wasn't that much. There wasn't that like much. I mean, Javonte Williams going to the Dallas Cowboys, Zach Wilson going to the Dolphins, Cody Barton, Zach Cunningham, Riley Dixon, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Tremont Smith. Yeah, I think it wasn't that much. But I will say a lot of 1-year deals, but the main ones has to be Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga because what the hell?
Yeah. They're beefing up that defense even more, and I'm shuddered to see what that performance looks like.
Here's the scary part. I'm planning to get tickets for the Eagles versus Broncos home game.
Ooh.
I don't even think the Eagles win that game.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
I
would
predicted
not
a
buy
lot
the
for
watch
you guys.
unless the Eagles get to Bo Nix and he becomes Mo Picks.
Yeah.
That is your only safe bet. I'm like thinking, should I consider saving money?
It might be a 17-14 game.
I would not be surprised by it. But I'll say this: Broncos coaching staff. There were a ton of changes, but the main ones is that they kept they mainly kept Joe Lombardi and Vance Joseph, both offensive and defensive coordinators. So there was nothing that major concern. But what the Broncos did in the draft, they made a couple of trades, but they made some really good picks, I thought. Pick one, round one, going at pick 20, Jahdae Barron from UT. This dude, Swiss Army knife, Jim Thorpe Award. I mean, it was definitely a surprise knowing that you already have Pat Surtain, and I thought they would go like more wide receiver or like some other weapon skill set, but having Jahdae Barron outside of Surtain, I mean, plus Barron's ability to play slot, outside corner, slot corner, safety, or even a dime linebacker, athleticism, crazy. RJ, and then pick late second round pick, getting running back RJ Harvey, fills in that slot for Javonte Williams. He had a definitely impressive college production, 6.5 yards per carry, back-to-back 1,400 yards of rushing at UCF, tackle breaker. And then and some other good players that I saw, Patrick Bryant, big frame, contesting catches, edge, Savion Jones, edge from LSU. You're adding more to that Vance Joseph 4-3 scheme. That is going to be freaking insane. And not only that, adding Quay Robinson and Savion Jones on both opposite ends, that's going to be insane. Very interesting that they got a punter in Jeremy Crenshaw, and tight end getting Caleb Lohner. Limited football plays, but I would say, which is probably one of the reasons why they managed to pull off a try-in and Evan Ingram. So I would say they focus a lot on generating on the defense. And I did like their approach of like letting the draft fall to them and you pick the best player available. But it's like adding potential playmakers in the wide receiver and the running back room definitely helps out. And I would say entering in, I thought it was very interesting. I did like the Jahdae Barron pick. And it was like, and again, improved defense, excellent draft picks. I'm not sure if that is enough for Bo Nix to not endure that sophomore slump as with like well-new quarterbacks. And Bo Nix is a very good talent. But did the Broncos do enough to help their young QB? Because if I were to look at their entire set, yes, RJ Harvey and Audric Estime, they're mainly going to be your two backs, but your wide receivers, you're going to be depending a lot with Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, and Jaquan Newton or Trent Sherfield. I'm not sure. Marvin Mims. It's going to be very tough. Unless Sean Payton can say, like, hey, on Joe Lombardi and the new coaching staff, like the new assistants, it's going to be very tough. But at tight ends, I felt they could have addressed it a little bit more, but just because you're going to go with Caleb Lohner was very, I mean, you're basically picked a former D1 basketball player to play tight end.
Mm-hmm.
But, and you're saying Evan Ingram's going to be your bet. That is, or I would quote from Dodgeball, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how this one goes through. But defensive, Jesus. Like, if I want to talk about not just adding Dre Greenlaw, you put in Quay Robinson and it's stupid. Quay Robinson and Savion Jones. Welcome to a 4-3 scheme that's going to fit for you.
And don't forget Jahdae Barron, who's just hanging out as a nickel corner.
He can play nickel, and Pastor Jay's like, "Oh, cool, you're playing nickel. He doesn't need to do that much work."
What is this defense? It's insanity.
Insane.
Their defensive line is strong. Their linebackers are probably the best overall unit, right? You might have the Ravens in Roquan Smith having the best linebacker, but in terms of a holistic unit, I think this is the best linebacking unit that you've seen.
I'm legitimately scared for the like if I'm facing the Broncos, I'm gonna see this. I am legitimately terrified.
Yes.
And here's my thing: that defense is going to change games.
Yes.
But
single-handedly.
That offense, that's gonna be the question.
It has to survive.
It has to do enough.
Yeah, exactly. It has to survive.
And I think you need to rely more on RJ Harvey if you want Bo Nix to succeed. Yeah. You have to stick with the run game.
I hope they don't do running back by committee like they did this year.
Javonte Williams and Audric Estime,
like RJ Harvey needs to be the three-down back. J.K. Dobbins can be a red zone threat.
Oh my God, I forgot about J.K. Dobbins. Yeah.
Yeah. Audric Estime can be your power back if you need in like, third and short, fourth and short. But RJ Harvey needs to be their, Bucky Irving. He needs to be the Bucky Irving of that offense.
And I mean, all I could say is when I did the records, I had them going 10-7 at best again because it's going to be a very tough decision. There may be some games I forgot to save my something on who their losses will be, but I still think they will be a wild card. Maybe they advance past a wild card.
Yeah,
I think they have the ability to pass the wild card, but
we'll see.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be. I think this is going to be. We saw what Bo Nix can do. Can he take the next step?
Yeah. Can the offense take the next step? That's the big question.
100%.
We know this defense is going to be probably the best, if not the second best defensive unit in the entire league, right? In terms of pass, run, sacks, interceptions, turnovers. I think this defense has got it covered. It's going to compete with the Eagles defense for being the best defense in the league. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%. Dude, and like Vance and not to say like people underestimate Vance Joseph. Underestimate him at your own peril.
Exactly.
This dude is sneaky as hell.
Yep. It's not that 70-point defense anymore. It is not the 70-point defense anymore. All right. Who's your Shandar Player of the Year?
My Shandar Player of the Year. I have a beat the Dole.
Okay.
I'm going with I mean, just to throw it out of a limb, I think this guy can compete for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jahdae Barron.
I knew it. Let's go.
Not just because he went to UT. I'm going to say he is a freaking Swiss Army knife. You know who I can compare him to? Bertigine.
I think he's better than Coop, but yeah.
He's healthier and
I think he's more Trent McDuffie.
Yeah. He does remind me a bit of Trent McDuffie for sure. Yeah. But this kid, I think
I was so upset, man.
Dude, I was like, when I saw like wait. I know that Jahdae Barron was gone to the. I saw like here's what I thought. Like entering into your draft, I thought the Packers were going with either. There were. I thought to myself, Packers are gonna get a UT player one way or another in the first round.
Yes,
it wasn't going. If it wasn't Jahdae Barron, it had to be Matthew Golden. And I was happy you got Matthew Golden.
My fear was that they were going to go with an offensive lineman,
Tyler Booker.
Yeah, but maybe Tyler Booker or maybe an interior defensive lineman, which would have been fine. But anyways, we'll get into that when we talk
let's
about
get into all that.
The NFC North. All right, let's move forward with the Chargers. Well, last year Harbaugh was a huge cultural change, right? He's one of those old school mentality of just run the football, right? He's not one of those new age figure out how to pass in layered formations like Sean McVay or Mike McDaniel. It's run the football, right? And that too with a heavy formation emphasis as well. You get more tight ends and more like 22 personnel or 12 personnel formations. So you could see their draft emphasis last year as well on improving the offensive line and focusing on the run game, which unfortunately resulted in a run-focused attack, but also sacrificing help at the wide receiver position. And that was key because even though they they put so much emphasis in the excuse me, in the running attack, it wasn't even that good because their interior offensive line was absolute garbage, and B, without a balanced pass, without an explosive passing attack, or without a balanced attack, they were completely exposed in that playoff game. Their highest running back having 9 carries for 26 yards, right? Before last season, everybody had clowned on them for not providing good receiving help and focusing on rushing. But the fact that they even focused on rushing, it was still terrible. They had the 8th highest passing offense, which is pretty good, but the 21st ranked rushing offense.
Yeah.
And I think the main reason why they were so bad was their interior offensive line was absolute dog crap.
Right? No, what does Abhishek Ramani say? Dog shit.
Yes. Yes, it was dog shit. It was terrible. When you look at, not just run blocking, this terrible interior play affected everything else, which is why we say build through the trenches, right? This affects everything else. If you have bad interior play for run game, more often than not, you have bad interior play for pass protection as well. When you look at the stat, tackles were second in pressures allowed, interior 26th. And now, what does this effect have? This has a cascading effect on your passing game as well. Yes, they were 8th, but it was suspicious because the wide receivers had the 4th highest drop percentage in the entire league, with the key culprit being Quentin Johnston at 7.7%, highest on the team and 27th in the league. So the lack of let me rephrase. Let me rephrase. I need to edit this part out.
Sure.
Bad interior offensive line play in the run game led to bad interior offensive line play in the pass protection game, which then further cascaded into reduced passing attack in terms of its effectiveness and explosiveness. Even though,
Can I add this? Can I add to that passing thing? And I will say this, all due respect, Vlad McConkey cannot be your answer to every single question for the Chargers.
Exactly.
It literally cannot. And just for everyone saying, do not draft wide receivers that come out of TCU. They don't know how to freaking catch a ball. Look at freaking Jalen Reagor and
Quentin Johnston. Yeah. And like you said, right, over-reliance on Ladd McConkey is not a sustainable solution. Because when you look at the playoff game, Ladd McConkey was fantastic. He had 9 catches for 197 yards and multiple touchdowns. But what happened? They lost by double digit. Why? Because they did not have a balanced offensive attack. And it all started with bad interior offensive line, which is why I'm going to get into this. They spent so much in the interior offensive line to beef it up because they realized that was their main weakness.
They did the
Now,
right thing.
defensively speaking, it's also similar. They have pretty decent passing defense, 6th in the entire league in terms of DVOA, but terrible rushing defense, 17th in the entire league. Why? Because their interior run defense sucked. 26th in adjusted line yards, which is the amount of yards that they allowed from specifically the defensive line, and 26th in stuffing, which means in short yardage situations, how good are you at stuffing the line, which they were not good at. 26th for both, which means that defensive line, specifically that interior, was absolute dog shit. Now, how did they plan to improve their weaknesses? Well, when you look at some of the big signings that they made, Mekhi Becton, right? Guard.
I'm so happy for Mekhi Becton, man. He deserved to earn that bag. I'm so happy.
2 years, $20 million. Which I think is a very solid deal because Mekhi Becton was a beneficiary of Stoutland University, but also he was a beneficiary of a great offensive line that cooperated with each other. Now, we'll see if they can do the same thing and produce the same type of results in the Chargers offensive line, which is not exactly the same environment that he came from, or if he reverts more to what happened during the Jets season. Right, where he was billed at, I think he was a top 10 pick, right? I think he was like the 7th overall pick.
He was a very high round draft pick from the Jets, from what I believe.
Unfortunately, due to a multitude of reasons, he couldn't perform to that expectation. And fortunately for him, he was retrained by Jeff Stoutland. So we'll see if that continues with the Chargers, because secret. An offensive line's performance is not only the play and the performance of each of the individual players, but also the communication between all 5 of those players to form one cohesive unit. That's why the Eagles consistently rank in the top 5 offensive line, because they perform so well together as a unit. Right?
It's not just one player. It is
exactly.
It's a unit.
That's why you can bring in a former rugby player and turn him into one of the best offensive linemen in the league, because he benefits from that communication. Now, that's regardless. Sorry,
we'll say that for a later thing. But the fact is, I think this was one of the best signings the Chargers have done. Mm-hmm. And as an Eagles fan, it sucks to see Becton go, but he definitely earned this bag. He earned it after a long way coming. I wish nothing but great success for him. He's going to do awesome. Chargers, you better treat him damn right. I'm going to hold y'all accountable.
The other signing that they made on the interior offensive line was Bradley Bozeman, 2 years, $6.5 million contract.
That was a good signing too.
Good signing for the value that they're getting. The player is decent. Right, in terms of his performance, he's been pretty decent with the Vikings and I think the Colts. So they are investing value in the interior offensive line, but we just need to see if it gels well together. I don't know if it can, but because, you can't really predict the future. They also brought in Najee Harris on a 1-year, $5 million deal. They brought in Tier Tart, who is a backup defensive tackle on a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. They also brought in Dante Jackson, a corner from, I believe, the Panthers on a 2-year, $13 million deal. And Troy Dye, they brought him back to the Chargers. Linebacker, 2 years, $5.5 million deal. So they brought in, not big signings, but significant signings in terms of the players and at the positions that they need and the value that they're getting. Now, they also extended a couple of players. Bud Dupree, veteran offensive linebacker, for a 1-year deal. J.K. Scott, their punter, former Packer punter, on a 2-year deal. Khalil Mack signs a 1-year, $18 million contract extension with the Chargers to stay for, presumably the to be the number 1 pass rusher after what they did. for that team. And then Elijah Molden on a 3-year, $18.75 million contract. So a pretty decent deal. They brought in some more pass defense help, and they retained some of the pass defense talent that they had.
I didn't think another reason why. Hear me out. I think it's with the fact that Asante Samuel Jr., their corner, has been injured for some time. He cannot stay healthy. So I'm guessing, and he hasn't been signed yet. He's still a free agent for anyone that wants it.
Exactly.
And I know some people are saying, some Eagles fans are saying, Howie, yo, it's like, cool your jets, y'all. Just take it easy. And these are very good signings, trust me.
Yeah, I think these are effective signings for the roles that they want them to play. Is it going to be fantastic signings? We'll see. It could be, I think an underrated one could be Elijah Molden, specifically for that role of their ESPN is listing him as a free safety, but unfortunately, oh no, he's on the player unable to perform list.
Oh, he's on the PUP list?
Yeah. 1 day ago with a knee injury. So we'll see, we'll see if he can regain his contract's value. Now, the big person that they did let go of, the person who has been with the Chargers for a long time and is synonymous with the Chargers, is Joey Bosa. Releasing him after many years, clearing $25 million of cap space. And I think that this is key, not just because for pass rush, but because of their run defense. If in terms of setting the edge, Joey Bosa was pretty decent at it, right? It wasn't his primary role, but he was still a very key component in their run defense. And their already abysmal run defense could potentially get worse. This is why I'm very conflicted on the Chargers.
True, but there's one memory I will remember Joey Bosa by, if you spare me 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, when did the Chargers play this week?
Are you Snapchatting your little butt buddies?
No, I'm just videoing you. The guy who's not playing today. Bosa!
I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Eagles fans, man, you guys are the worst.
I had to with the Joey Bosa.
You guys are another breed, man. I have to say. All right, let's get back.
Yeah.
They brought in a safeties coach, Chris O'Leary. Sorry, no, he left. They brought in Adam Fuller, who previously was with Florida State, so from college. That's the major coaching change that they had. Now let's talk about their draft. Their draft was pretty intensive, right? They went through a wide range of needs and they addressed a lot of them. Their first overall pick, they brought in Omarion Hampton, running back.
Like that pick.
Excellent selection. That's why they brought in Najee Harris and released Gus the Bus Edwards, right? Along with J.K. Dobbins, right? They released their cadre of their committee of running backs that they had before.
You have your 1-2 punch.
Huh?
You have the 1-2 punch. Omarion
Exactly.
Hampton and Najee Harris. Harbaugh Jim has to stick to that.
Exactly. They also brought in, and I think this is a pretty underrated draft pick for them, Trey Harris, wide receiver from Ole Miss. He's a good, big possession catch receiver who isn't drop prone. He's not drop prone, but he can sometimes make mistakes. So that is something to look out. But he's a second-round pick, so we'll see how he improves. Now, their previous second-round pick in Ladd McConkey has become fantastic for them, the number one wide receiver for them. So we'll see if Trey Harris can improve and provide similar impetus. They also brought in some more defensive tackles and edges, and another wide receiver in the 5th round, and some more depth in terms of the tight end position and their safeties. So they brought in a lot of rookies. A lot of them are depth, but I think the top 2 starters are going to be their first 2-round picks, Omarion Hampton and Trey Harris. So overall, I think this season they're going to have a top 15 offense in terms of both pass and rush, because they solved their critical needs, at least on paper, in their running game, which is they're addressing their interior offensive line and actually drafting a 3-down back in Omarion Hampton. Now, Omarion Hampton is not listed as the starter on ESPN, but rest assured, hopefully, he does become the starter because he needs to be, right? So I think top 15 offense in terms of both pass game and rushing game. New rookie wide receivers and running backs. Herbert in year 2 of Roman's offense, hopefully an improved wide receiving core with regarding drops, hopefully an improved interior line performance. So on paper, they've addressed a lot of their problems with their running game and their passing game. Now, on their defense, I just don't know if they can improve, because while on paper they did bring in some players to improve the rush defense, they did let go of Joey Bosa, who is one of their critical players in terms of setting the edge and providing pass rush. So, I mean, they just improved the interior of their defensive line with a 3rd and 4th round investment in the draft. And they lost Bosa, so I don't know if the defense is going to be better. I think the offense will. So I think that they go like 9-8, 10-7, barely make the playoffs. But unfortunately, I think even if the offensive, even if the offense performs, I think their ceiling this year is the divisional round. I just don't think they have the legs to go any further than that. And for me, my Shandar player of the year for them is going to be Omarion Hampton, who's going to be the offensive rookie of the year.
Okay.
He's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. Potentially. Potentially. I know there are a lot of candidates for that, so we'll see.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Last but not least, well, definitely last. The Raiders.
Oh.
The disappointment that is the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, all due respect, you had the hype with Antonio Pierce. Who led this team to an 8-9. But you go, but damn, you've dropped all the way to 4-13. Not only resulting in Pierce's firing along with general manager Tom Telesco. I mean, and if you wanted to talk about how bad this team was, you talk about points scored, points allowed, offensive yards, rushing yard, like a majority of the stats, you're either close to dead last or dead last. If I were to talk about stat wise, I would be sad myself.
Yeah.
So I am doing y'all so Raiders fans, I'm doing y'all a favor and sparing you. No, like, okay, if you want me to say it, you finish dead last in total rushing, 1,357 yards, averaging 79.8 yards per game. Your defense finished 25th in points allowed. Like, do I have to say anything? There were 3 bright spots. Brock Bowers, we all know, first team All Pros, set the rookie tight end record for receptions, 112, receiving yards, 1,194, and first among tight ends in both categories. He actually joined Jamar Chase as the only NFL player with 4 games of 10-plus receptions in 2024. Defensive end Max Crosby, another Pro Bowl year, 7.5 sacks, 15 tackles for a loss in 12 games played, missed 5 due to injury. And Jacoby Myers, first career 1,000 receiving yards for the first time in his entire career. So happy for him, but good Lord. Again, what did I say before? Their offensive, their rushing yards sucked. Like you had, it was so bad. You had Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew. You traded in between for Desmond freaking Ritter.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't even win a single game against all AFC opponents. They were 0-6. And yes, you fired Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco. And I'll talk about the head coach and the GM because those two are very important. And guess who they made? They brought in Pete Carroll and John Spytek.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Carroll is the new head coach. John Spytek is GM.
I love that pickup for them. I think he's going to be exactly what Jim Harbaugh was to the Chargers.
What about John Spytek? I don't know much about him.
He's from the Bucks.
Oh,
exactly.
Bucks front office. Okay.
Exactly. He was critical in getting Vita Vea and Tristan Wirfs for the Bucks. So if you know about how important those draft selections are, then you know exactly what sort of talent he looks for in building his own team.
Oh, and I'm not done yet. Coaching, there was a major coaching change they had on their offensive coordinator. Lo and behold, back from college football hell, Chip Kelly is back.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about this. Good luck. That's all I will say.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick Graham will still remain as defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
In the same position. So, I mean, and some of the players that they brought in, like I'm not gonna go. I mean, they did trade for Geno Smith from the Seahawks for a 2025 third-round pick, which was via Detroit. Players that they were able to add, I thought, I like Alex Kappa for guard, Jeremy Chin from the Commanders. So I thought that was a good pickup. Lonnie Johnson for the Panthers, Raheem Mostert, Landon Roberts, Eric Stokes from the Packers.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, I mean, Lecky Fotu, defensive tackle. Ian Thomas for the Panthers. So, Devin White. Oh, Eagles legend Devin White, who didn't play a single effing snap before he got his ass cut. Pause. And then I thought a good one was Jermaine Pratt from the Bengals. And then players that they lost, safety Trevon Moore to the Panthers, Harrison Bryant, tight end, Eagles, Nate Hobbs going to the Packers. That was big.
Yeah.
Robert Spillane, linebacker, the Patriots. Divine Diablo, the best name ever, going to the Falcons. Marcus Epps, Eagles legend, and Marcus Epps going to the Pats. Alex Matheson, Gardner Minshew, Andre James, John Jenkins. So some, not all. That's all I could say. But some of the extensions that they made, they did sign AJ Cole to a 4-year, their punter to a 4-year contract, $15.8 million. Geno Smith also got extended 2 years, $75 million.
And they traded for him, right?
They traded for him. And then Adam Butler, defensive tackle, 3 years, $16.5 million. Max Crosby, 3 year, $106.5 million. Isaiah Poamau, 2-year, 7.45 safety.
What do you think about them acquiring Geno Smith?
I think Geno Smith will help you win games, but I don't think that's the right answer. I really felt they could have gone quarterback, and I will talk about this.
Okay.
So, what did they do in the draft?
Mm-hmm.
They had a ton of picks.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did really strong on the offensive side because I don't know what the hell they were doing. And credit to Spytech. And Pete Carroll wanted to focus on the heavy run offense and boasting and that defensive line, building through the trenches. What did they do? They picked, and I'm gonna say this as my Shandar player of the and competitor. I think he's gonna easily win the offensive rookie of the year. Ashton Jeanty from Boise State.
Yep.
Heisman Trophy runner-up. And
should have been the Heisman Trophy winner.
Who'd they pick? Oh yeah, Travis Hunter. I mean, this dude. If you want to know what Jeanty does, watch his tapes at Boise State. Ankle breaker, yards after contact, definitely running back one. Then 50, and then round 258, wide receiver. You get Jack Beach from TCU. What was my warning on?
Zach Beck is good. Zach Beck is good. Okay? He is good. If you look at his tape, he makes a lot of critical possessions. He actually does catch the ball. There's like this incredible catch that he made on the sideline where he's like leaning over like this and he catches right with with his tiptoes. So I think he's a very underrated, very good selection for them.
Nice. Okay, then 68, Darren Porter. I thought that was a good pickup from Ohio.
Another awesome selection.
Yep. Round 3, pick 98. I like this one. Caleb Rogers from Texas Tech.
I thought the Packers were going to select him. He was so good.
He joins fellow Texas Tech guy and Tyree Wilson. Wreck him, by the way. I've seen what Caleb Rogers can do, and I love his tape. And I thought this was one of the best drafts I've seen. Getting Charles Grant.
Yep.
Offensive tackle from Will and Mary.
In the third round.
Third round. That's a great steal. Wide receiver Dante Thornton Jr., tall, fast, raw, basically camp body at best. Tonka Hemingway.
I don't think he's a camp body. I think he can provide like that MVS role almost where you're just, going deep at that point. So a pretty good draft selection.
And then you go round 4 and round 6, back-to-back defensive tackles, Tonka Hemingway and JJ Pegues. I wanted JJ Pegues as a late round.
Yes.
I was so upset that he went. Yes. And then round 6, and then they also got wide receiver / quarterback Tommy Mellett from Montana State. Apparently he's a dual threat.
He's not even on the team anymore.
He got cut?
Damn. Oh, no, wait, he's the punt returner.
Oh, he's going to be punt returner. Oh, he's special teams.
And
then QB, they got Cam Miller from North Dakota State. And then linebacker, I thought this was good, Cody Lindenberg. Read and react instinct linebackers, special teams. So I think mainly this focused on, hey, our running game sucked last year. What do we do? Build a trench and get freaking Ashton Jeanty.
Yep.
And Geno Smith can help you win games, but not all of it. So I think it's going to be relying on Jeanty's legs. And defensive needs, you focus on the D-line and you added depth and versatility. I like the Hemingway and Pegues picks. Darren Porter at corner, that's going to be fun.
They had such a good draft. You can clearly see Spytech's influence here.
I think this read Spytech all over it. I would give it an A. I mean, yeah, some people say, getting a corner, running back at 8-6, like, come on, they have to go best player available.
Yeah.
And I think they have a solid foundation. Maybe next year if things don't look well, they could be in line for a quarterback. A much better QB class than this year, for sure.
Yeah.
And I will say this overall, 5-12, 7-10 at best. It'll take time to adjust to a new Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly style of offense. And Brock Bowers, he's going to be leading all receivers again. JT is going to make it more easier for this offense. He'll make it easy, but not that much. I think that, and again, this all depends on the quarterback. As much as Geno Smith he's a good quarterback. But if you want to say great,
see, I don't think he has to be. I think this year their aspirations are probably going to be playoffs. And I think if they like this, the reason why, and I'll get into this a little bit in our final division breakdown, but I think this division is very close when you look outside the Chiefs, because each of these head coaches are not going to make it easy on each other.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right? Like a Raiders and Broncos game is not going to be a Raiders and Broncos game of before. It's going to be close. It's going to be battle tested.
Yeah.
At least one of those games. So I think I agree that Geno Smith is not a great quarterback, but he's a good enough quarterback for them to win games and also win like 1 or 2 games in the postseason. If this team gels well and if Genty performs to our expectations and if the wide receivers improve, they already have Brock Bowers, who's their number 1 receiver at that point. They've improved their offensive line. I think if everything gels well together, this could be a thorn in the side of teams like the Texans in the playoffs.
I agree too. But I think for me, honestly, I'm not convinced if Geno Smith can lead them to the playoffs. I think he's average at best. He's a good quarterback. He's decent. But can he take you to the next level? I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is where we disagree. I think he can. You say he can. We'll see. He nearly did for the Seahawks this year.
Nearly did, but
nearly.
Let's see. Okay. And I said my Shandar Player of the Year and beat the Dole. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Ashton Jeanty.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to finish off with the final division predictions. And this is what I was going to say with this division. I think it's going to be exciting to see just how close the games are going to be between the Chargers and the Broncos and the Chargers and the Raiders and each of those 3 teams against each other, because all of these coaches, as I said before in the beginning of this episode, all of these coaches have insane NFL pedigrees, right? They're not just your average head coach. They are some of the best head coaches that we've seen in the past 2.5 to 3 decades. You got Andy Reid, multiple Super Bowl time champion, and 2 amazing careers with 2 different teams, right? I think he's one of the only teams to have taken 2 different teams to the playoff, to the Super Bowl, right? Then you look at Jim Harbaugh, amazing pedigree as well with the 49ers, and the fact that he brought his team, that team with Colin Kaepernick, to the Super Bowl as well. You look at Sean Payton and the record that he has with Drew Brees, and finally you look at Pete Carroll, the oldest coach amongst this bunch, but still probably the one with the highest amount of loyalty amongst his players. Like the amount of camaraderie that he develops with his players is something that I rarely see with other head coaches. Like when you talk to Richard Sherman or Earl Thomas or any one of those Legion of Boom players of what they think about Pete Carroll, they rave about him because they love him. Like they love to play for him. And I think he builds that same sort of culture with the Raiders, who sorely and desperately need a culture changer. He is going to be what Dan Campbell was to the Lions.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
That's why I think all of, like, besides the Chiefs, who I think go 13-4, all of these other teams either go 9-8 or 10-7. And it depends. 2 out of these 3 teams are going to get into the playoffs, because I think the AFC South, only one team, the division winner, is going to get in there. None of those 3 teams are going to compete with these 3.
Mhm.
Then you look at the AFC North. There's only 2 teams there, right? The Ravens and the Bengals, who are probably going to make the playoffs. And then you look at the AFC East, probably just the Bills. So I think this division is going to be the closest one that we've seen in terms of probably having 3, maybe even all 4 of these teams in the division. But that's just my take. What about yours?
So I had the Chiefs going 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
The one toss-up game is at week 2, Chiefs versus Eagles.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
Yep.
Broncos and Chargers, they are dogfighting for 10-7. Apparently I had them going 3-3 each. And the Raiders going 5-12. I would still, because I'm still not sold on Geno Smith taking them to playoffs, and they could do a little bit more work on the wide receiver sets, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that they still have a lot of room that they need to improve on.
Mhm.
But they can make some noise. They can play spoiler.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I think lowest case scenario, they play spoiler, but they're not a good enough team to compete with the big dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I don't think they're a playoff team in the worst case scenario. I think best case scenario, they make the playoffs as a 10-7 team.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think it all hinges on the Raiders this season.
Yep. The Raiders are their own worst enemies.
Yep. So we'll see if Mark Davis has done a good job with this time. All right. Well, that's about it for us today. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host our podcast on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Casts. Or, Rakshak,
They could find us on YouTube, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And we're also on the following social media platforms: Twitter/X, Instagram, and Threads at NFL Masala 2022, all lowercase. That is at NFL Masala 2022.
and we're gonna hit you guys with our signature outro. Go Pack Go!
And fly, Eagles, fly. Take care and have a good night.